Hi, my name is Anne Brady and I welcome you to a Mentoring Writers Resource Box podcast. Listen to learn more about the writing world. After all, the more you learn, the better writer you can become. Recently, an author friend of mine suggested I start an Agony Ant column, as he decided he was always asking me the odd question, either about his forthcoming book or the writing process. I had to laugh because that in effect is what I have been doing for some time, albeit not via a specific column, although I do a small Q&A section at the end of the Mentoring Writers newsletter. It's more that people pop the odd question, either in my email box or via social media. It's not that I mind, as I enjoy sharing my number of years' experience of what I have learnt, and I'm still learning about this crazy writing world of ours. If I am truthful, I enjoy chatting to people and helping them where I can. Anyway, it's got me thinking. Rather than just respond to these odd questions direct, I thought I would utilise the Mentoring Writers Resource Box podcasts to occasionally share some of them with you. After all, you may well have been asking the same sort of questions. So here goes. So having asked the author I have mentioned about the images for his new book and what the arrangement is with his illustrator, he came back with the following question. We have never had a discussion about ownership or royalties. It has simply been a case of me paying her for the artwork. To date, I have paid her X number of pounds and have yet to receive her final invoice, which will probably be another couple of hundred. So what do you think? This is not an area I have a clue about. Once again, I need your advice, Anne. Well, my answer was, I wish I had known this before he committed to the work. The one thing any author should do before taking on an illustrator is to get the deal organised. And of course, this is also in the best interest of the illustrator as well. You cannot assume that he or she is doing your illustrations for a one-off fee. Although in my case, with the Little Friends Adventure picture book images, I did purchase outright full copyright ownership of all the images. That's 18 books worth of illustrations. Seems a lot. However, what it meant was that I could use those images anywhere I wanted. And I have. I can even sell them if I want, or lease them on sites such as Adobe Stock. But that's my choice. I was also looking long term. When I finally decide to leave this mortal world, those images will go to my daughter and she can do with them what she wants. And if she wants to lease them, sell them, she can do. Anyway, I digress, so here we go. What you must do is make sure that both you and your illustrator are singing from the same hymn sheet. Are you buying the images outright, or are you going to have a royalty share contract? This means any payments you receive in the way of royalties will be shared on a pro rata basis to be determined prior to the work being undertaken. Give it a thought, folks, before agreeing to any illustration work. Otherwise, you could come unstuck at a later date. Oh, by the way, I do have copies of contracts for both royalty share or outright purchase of any illustrations which I'm willing to share upon request. Email details available at the end of the podcast. Next question. Why is the paper quality different in some of my picture books? Answer. Well, this happens as it depends where the book is originally printed. These days, most books are printed POD, that's printed on demand. Obviously, the aim is to get the book printed quickly and sold for as little cost as possible. The standard printing format for POD tends to be standard colour on 50 or 70 gram weight white paper, although you can go for premium colour. What you have to bear in mind is that long gone are the days when a book was printed on a printing press. These days, everything is done digitally, which means the printing process is different. So the better the PDF you upload, the better the quality of print. When it comes to illustrations, the printing machine is looking for coloured images in CMYK 300 pixels and in black and white 150 pixels. The process can be very confusing for the uninitiated, although systems such as Amazon, Lulu, BookBub, etc. do their best to make it easy. If, however, you want your images to be printed on glossy paper, then it's off to the good old-fashioned printers, not the POD ones. But I'm afraid that costs money. I have learnt that publishing can and cannot be easy, depending on the type of book and if it does have illustrations, the quality of them. Next question. Should I get a coach or a mentor to improve my writing? Principally, writing improves, as in all things, with practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it. However, it doesn't harm to have some help. But you need to know which is the right type of assistance for you. Unless you understand the difference between the two, how will you know who suits you best? Let's compare the coach to a mentor. Coaches often structure their time. For example, 1 to 2 hour sessions a number of times a week for a period of, say, 10 weeks. Mentorship, on the other hand, is less formal. Mentors and protégés, or I always call my mentees, meet only as and when needed. Coaches always charge for their time. Yes, they will often offer a free introductory meet or call, just to see if you and them are a good match. To be honest, there is nothing wrong in taking advantage of the free call from a coach if available, just so you can see what is on offer. In contrast, it is rare for a mentor to request payment for their advice. OK, they may require payment for additional services, such as, say, reviewing and editing a full draft manuscript. After all, you would pay an editor for that anyway. However, often in the main, they don't. If a mentor starts pushing the boundaries, then discuss a way for transitioning the relationship into more of a paid consultation role. There's nothing wrong with doing this. With a coach, they will set out clear and concise goals and outcomes. You will find a coach can provide wider knowledge to your business challenges. And remember, as an author, you are a business. With mentorship, it tends to be peer-to-peer discussions and a form of storytelling. Often, a mentor will explain your journey by telling you about their experiences and how they overcame any similar situations they have had that relate to you. In other words, they are guiding you to becoming the business. After all, unless you write your first book, you aren't an author in business, are you? In summary, meeting with a coach tends to be structured and very businesslike, whilst dealing with a mentor is much more relaxed, more of a journey into the writing world. Once you know that they have experienced the same as you, or what you think you're going to experience, and that they are willing to share it, warts and all, you will be more relaxed and you'll learn more. So there we go, that's the difference. That's why I'm a mentor rather than a coach. Next question. I want to know if I have the talent to be a real writer. Answer. Well, if you put pen to paper or fingers to the keyboard and start adding words that make a story, then you are writing. And as such, you are a writer. Remember, if you are writing, you are not wasting your time. Writing is about organising your thoughts. As my favourite criminal investigator, Monsieur Poirot, often says, it is the brain, the little grey cells on which one must rely. One must seek the truth within, not without. And the same can be said about writing. Keeping those little grey cells well exercised is like a gym workout for the brain. As for being a real writer, well, if you are writing, and you're not a puppet carved by an old Italian guy named Geppetto, well then you are a real writer. A writer is someone who writes, full stop. However, please remember it is a long learning curve, but one I believe anybody can learn if they've got the drive. Oh, and a bit of imagination helps as well. So I ask you, are you a real writer? Or someone who either pretends to be or just talks about being one, but never actually sits down and does anything about it? Only you know the answer to that question. Let me know what you think. Anyway, that's it, folks. I hope you've enjoyed listening to today's Q&As. If you have a question that you would like answered on our next Q&A podcast, or even in our newsletter, in fact, you can have a copy of our newsletter if you email us. The details are to follow. So I hope you've enjoyed this. For more details on our services, help with any aspect of your writing, including mentoring, even if you want, as I said, a copy of our newsletter, then email us at contact@mentoringwriters.co.uk and we will endeavour to assist you in your writing journey. Happy writing, everyone. This was Anne Brady bringing you a Mentoring Writers Resource Box podcast. Thank you for listening and we hope you will join us again.